I mean, come on, you guys. Show some decorum. He did die. He was a human being, for Christ's sake. Just waiting for YouTube to tell me that we're using copywritten material and to cease it, or they're going to shut off the Hangout. Because they're cocks like that, and they do that. Anyways, welcome to the Joel Henderson Show, episode 54. Episode 54, where are you? Right here. Thanks for asking.
Nobody asked.
With me, as always, on the Game of Thrones discussion podcasts, Jeremy Vasaitis, right there.
How are we doing?
We are doing. So, we just, we sort of tried to watch the episode again. We watched it last night live-ish.
Yeah, except your internet sucks and we couldn't get through it.
Fucking bullshit. Stopped at 20 minutes. It stopped during the opening credits. It's that bad. Stupid, shitty Comcast. But we're not here to talk about Comcast.
That's a whole other podcast.
I know, right? Assuming we could get the internet connection. I was taken that there was no cold open. I forgot that they usually don't do that, where they have a scene before the opening credits. That was the first thing that struck me about the episode.
Yeah, you know what? From time to time, I can't tell you, how many there's been or not, but there's been a few cold opens.
Yeah, I feel like they're mainly at the beginning or end of season.
Yeah.
Because I think we started the series with one, didn't we?
Yeah, it was the swords. And
no, I mean the whole series. Didn't the whole series start with a cold open with the dude in the woods?
Absolutely.
For 9 days, as you've told me many times. The guy.
Well, it was from the books.
Yes. God damn it. So it's not fact in the fucking show.
I did not read the books. I just read the prologue.
Yeah, I'm fine with people having their, you know what I mean? If that's what if you wanted to read the books, by all means read the books. It just feels, why do you have to point out the differences to us non-book people?
Yeah, if you want to read the books, that's fine. If you're watching the show at the same time you're reading the books, don't read ahead.
Fair enough.
And if you do want to read ahead, don't discuss it with anybody.
Yeah, we don't need to know how it's different than the books because we didn't read the books. So therefore, we have no.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm watching the show. I haven't read any of the books. I will, but not right now. I'm watching the show. I want to see how the show turns out. I like being surprised by the show and being caught off guard by things that happen, like this episode.
I mean, and shit, if it's going to be that different, then how cool is it going to be to read the books and see a slightly different take on things?
I mean, I'm interested. The books are a lot more detailed, and I'm interested to see what they have, but the show is what got me interested in the whole thing, not the books. So I'm watching the show.
I could not have kept the characters straight. There's no fucking way that I could have known who
not
everybody
without
was.
having a visual representation.
Yeah. And I mean, shit. If I would never have pictured Tyrion to look the way he does. He would never have been as cool as he is.
I think in the books he's described a lot more grotesque.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. God damn. So...
and this is all knowledge, not knowledge of just things I hear from talking with...
book people?
Book readers.
Fucking bookers. Hashtag book yourself. I made a note to ask you about the story of the bands that you kind of briefly touched on.
Well, it's like I don't know whether to call it like the sun or what it is. There's things that, like, if you're paying attention to the opening credits, the thing that's kind of moving around.
Yeah.
And it's got the surrounding, like, bands to it. If you pay attention when it gets close to those bands, it's kind of got like a visual representation of the story, like, beforehand.
Like the history?
Like, it's... The one I'm specifically talking about is there's one that gets close, and it's the dragon. And the dragon is being attacked by a wolf, a lion, and a stag.
Okay.
Which means that, because the dragon was...
I haven't associated them all with who. Like, obviously, dragon is Daenerys, but wolf is...
Well, her father was the Mad King.
Okay.
Who was taken down by a combination of the Lannisters, which are the lion, the Baratheons.
And that's the thing where Jaime killed the...
Mad King. Okay, the lion is the Lannisters, the Baratheon is the stag, and the wolf is the Starks.
Okay.
There were the three main houses that combined to overthrow.
And a stag, is that an animal or is
it's
that
a stag? It's like a deer, like a reindeer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've seen the one with the horns.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, horns, whatever. Antlers. Fuck, that's what they're called.
Right.
They're not rhinoceroses.
But it just kind of and then later on you see the stag with the wolf and the lion bowing to it.
So you think that maybe it could be predictive?
No,
Or you think it's just
it's
past?
like pre-story.
Oh, okay.
That's how Robert the stag became the king. Robert was the stag.
And he was all legitimately supposed to be king, or is it?
No, he took over the throne. That's where they killed the Mad King and took it over.
Oh, okay. So he was the leader of that rebellion or whatever.
Robert's rebellion.
I see. Yes. Well, that's a good name for it. I haven't watched the fucking DVD extras. That's another thing I need to do. You're almost getting. It almost becomes another category. People who have watched the
probably
Blu-rays.
just more information filled in from the books, which is what it is. It's like more of the backstory.
Oh yeah, because they're not going to make that shit up. They're just going to if they have the reference material, they may as well just put it in there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so let's go over. You want to go over a short recap of everything, or do you want to just move on from scene to scene and discuss it?
I guess scene to scene. I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever. The first thing I thought was sort of, and I haven't even seen the movie or read the books, but Hunger Games. That's kind of what I thought, a Hunger Games scenario where they were being hunted.
I don't know much about the Hunger Games, but we're not going to get into that right now. Well, it opened with them pretty much hunting that chick with dogs.
See, I thought Theon was running too. The way they made it seem at first, I thought he was part of it, and he was trying to escape too.
He was just kind of like their servant.
Yeah, and he was just
following
there.
along, yeah.
That shit, when he let the dog, when he watched, or didn't watch, but when he was there while the dog was eating that girl, I thought that was the proof right there that we needed later that he wasn't going to slit his throat.
Well, that's because he was his bitch at that point. Yeah, seriously, like this, that dude tortured the shit out of him. I mean, like that dude is scarred for life.
Yeah,
that guy.
He's Fuck him. He was a douchebag before.
He made his own mistakes. He should have stuck with Robb Stark.
He gets what he fucking deserves.
He got his comeuppance.
Yes, he did. God damn it. See, there's a practical use of comeuppance. It is a thing. Learn how to say it. It's not anything. It's comeuppance.
Okay. And then from that scene, we move on to a nice little conversation between the
brothers. Literally, what we do is the last thing we see is Reek standing there with his head down, and then we see Cersei hand a big sausage to Tyrion, which made me think of Theon.
It was a servant,
but whoever it was, it made me think of a dick.
That's exactly why they did that.
Yeah.
With the handing him the big sausage right after that. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was great.
Pretty nice little conversation. His brother hooks him up with Bronn. For
the sword training. I mean, he was basically, I think he was coming to grips with being in the same category as Tyrion there. Like, I don't think he's spoken to Tyrion like that before.
Think of it. He said the Lannister children. Tyrion said it was...
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was great.
I always want to save it for my last segment because that's my favorite line.
Oh, okay. Well, then,
I'll save it for later.
Yeah.
But that line he says right there, that was my favorite line.
It never felt like before that they were in the same category. He was the shit. Jaime was the shit. He was the guy.
He was the heir, everything, and now he's a cripple. And along the same lines as Tyrion being the.
Yeah, because Tyrion was a bad guy at first, wasn't he? Like you didn't immediately. Wasn't he kind of an asshole? And then by the end of the first episode, you grew to love him or whatever. But like I feel like he was positioned as a bad guy, and Lannisters are supposed to be bad guys.
He was a Lannister, so yeah, I think he was supposed to be thought of as one of the bad guys.
Is there an angle we're missing that maybe the Lannisters aren't such bad guys?
Well, dude, I mean, listen. I think that the only, like in my real opinion, from what I've seen so far, the only good people are dead. The only good people who had good in their hearts were the Starks, I think. Were Ned Stark and
well, then obviously their next generation are going to do something.
I think so too, but I don't think you can't call anybody good or bad in the Seven Kingdoms, man. They're all out for themselves and to get as high up as they can.
Yeah,
including doing whatever they can to seat on the Iron Throne.
Yeah, I
think everybody wants.
I guess I don't get the end game because it didn't seem like Joffrey was necessarily happy as king. I mean, he was so fucked
just
up.
Just the wrong kind of kid to be king. He's just I don't know. He was a stuck up kid. He's stuck up, rich kid, never had any responsibilities or anything like that. Should have, he just.
I
not a
mean,
good king.
what a fucking actor.
Yeah.
To pull that shit off.
You know what? We watched. I was during lunch today. We briefly watched it again. And they had some director's commentary, and he even said, I have never seen an actor in my life
embody a role, yeah,
opposite role than the person that he actually is, because Jack Gleason is the most sweetest. He's the sweetest, kindest kid you'll ever meet in your life, and
that's
he
some fucking
really
method
embodies
acting.
that. That's but the sad part about that is I've heard that's the only role he's going to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were the one who told me.
Yeah,
that
he
said
wants to go to college and he wants to be a professor or something like that, but he's not going to continue to pursue acting, as far as I know.
No,
I mean,
he
it's
did
possible.
a good job. I mean, he played a really good villain. We all love to hate him for 3 seasons here, 3+ seasons.
Yeah, and I think that was another one of those things where they said the guy that directed this episode said that he's directed 3 more or 2 or 3 more in the rest of the season, including like 10, and he said like 2, 8, and 10, and he said of all of them, 2 is the smallest. And a lot of shit seemingly happened in this episode.
I mean,
time passes so fucking quick.
See, I think
when
you
we're
just gotta,
watching
when
it.
you're watching the show, I think you have to come to grips with the fact that time is passing really fast. Like you.
No, I just meant as a watcher, as a viewer. Like the time of the hour that we're allotted of seeing into this world is not enough. Nearly.
No, yeah, I agree.
10
I wanna
hours
see
a
more.
year.
Yeah,
I mean,
I want to see like at least 13 to 17.
give me the
episodes would be
quarter a
cool.
year thing. The
Yeah,
quarter
that
of
would
a
be
year of Game of Thrones. If you want to come up to the mic, which is on, you're welcome to, but don't yell from the other side of the room, Big L. Let's not be a tool.
Hi, my name is Big Al, and I have a question for the podcast.
What is your
Or an
question?
I mean,
interesting
you
point.
honestly tell people that.
Well, yeah.
Okay, all right. I just want
Anyways,
to be okay with it. Okay.
it's interesting the way you say that just now, that only 10 hours a year. That's insane when you think about it like that. Like, literally, of the Game of Thrones, which is such a phenomenon and part of culture and everything, only 10 hours a year.
That's the bummer of fucking TV is
Yeah.
that.
a
It's
lot
a
of
very-
shows
you gotta-
are
you
like
gotta
that. That's
wo-
an interesting point. I just want
But
to bring
movies
that
are
up.
even less. Imagine working on a movie for 2 years and it's an hour and a half or
Right.
something, and then that's it. You spend 2 years on it. They watch it.
I don't
okay.
know, man. I mean, wow, 10 hours of Game of Thrones a year.
There should be a little
There
bit
should be
more.
more.
Yeah, I mean, there
I
should
heard
be
it's
more.
really fucking expensive
It's
to
really
film.
expensive to film and make, though. They're in a lot of exotic locations, their backgrounds, and
He was talking about one of the bigger episodes he did in the past, the one where the dragons were breathing fire before, like last season, in that big new town that we hadn't
Yeah.
seen before. He said the new one is far bigger than that, and they were able to use an old movie set for that one. And then
from
now
what
they had to
I've
build it
seen
from
a couple
scratch.
of previews, and yeah, it
They
looks
built a
pretty
new city from
insane,
scratch,
dude.
and it's
Yeah.
far bigger than one that was a pre-existing
Like-
set before.
Yeah.
Yes, Big L.
Have they said
Are you
how
going
long
to continue to raise your hand because it's really fucking weird?
Well,
Why
yeah,
don't you
'cause
sit?
Because I'm just a guest
We have
on the
to.
podcast.
We have to.
I'm
We
gonna
do have
bounce
to
it
move
around.
on to the next scene, though.
Well, I'm
We
just
have to
curious-
Continue our.
Yes.
Have they said how long that they're going to run the show for?
I
is
believe it's going to be around 7 seasons.
that's kind of okay.
They
That's
might do
another
8,
thing.
but
You guys are doing a great job, though. I just wanted to say.
okay, fuck
I'm
off, Big L.
enthralled.
Thank you.
I liked when he was doing the training. I mean, I don't. Do you think he's going to be able to recover?
Yeah,
Eventually,
absolutely.
I mean, all he's got to do
He
is
was an
just do
expert
it.
sword fighter beforehand. He'll learn to use it with his left hand.
Yeah.
Especially with that guy teaching him.
God,
I
imagine
think-
how hard
I'll
that
tell you
would
what,
be.
quietly, you know how they're kind of ranking the swordsmen a little bit. You know, Jamie was supposed to be one of the best ones.
Yeah.
Brienne's one of the best ones. I think Ned Stark, before he, I think he was, before he lost his head, he was supposed to be one of the better fighters.
That makes
in
it
the
sound like
kingdoms.
he went a little crazy.
Well, no, before he literally lost his head, they chopped his head off. Okay, but what was I getting at?
Echo. Hey. Jeez.
I think Bronn. I think Bronn is probably one of the better fighters in the whole Seven Kingdoms.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely he's on the Kingsguard now. He's on. Sorry, the dog is being annoying because somebody pulled up. I think Jen's back. Braun, yeah, of course he's going to be the best. I
I
haven't,
think he'll be able to teach Jamie. Like going back to your question, I think he'll be able to teach Jamie.
and he will
to fight with his
eventually
left hand,
be.
absolutely.
He's got to be something because even Tyrion's overcome the fact that he's short and everything. All of those disadvantages.
Why not?
Yeah, so he's got to, and he's going to be a fan favorite. I called that as soon as they started having him in captivity.
Jamie.
That Jamie was being positioned to,
The redeemed character.
exactly. Yeah, he became the Sawyer from Lost.
Kind of looks like him too a little.
Yeah,
Moving on to the next scene.
yeah. Oh well, but the thing where he said, Bran.
Oh, you shit
Bronn.
gold like your father.
No, the thing where he said, right here is where I fuck his wife, and she's a screamer, so if they don't hear us, we'll be fine.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
So then they went to Snow's camp. I forgot the last name, Bat something, or
Castle
Bolton.
Black.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, we talk. Which?
The,
You talking about Jon Snow?
no, the other Snow.
The other Snow. That's the Dreadfort.
Yeah, okay. The dude that was being a douchebag in the woods.
Correct.
And has been like
Oh my God.
a ridiculously
I
over the
think
top
on
evil
past
caricature.
podcasts, we might have referred to him as Evil Frodo.
That's possible. I mean, he is like the epitome of an over the top caricature of a bad guy. Like it's so ridiculous and over the. I love it.
Yeah. He's really.
What the
is.
fuck?
But-
I mean, it's a great performance,
Yeah,
but
he's doing a
it's
good
an
job.
annoying ass character.
But I think you're meant to hate him.
That's
He's
a
pulling it off,
performance,
right.
absolutely.
But so they went back to the Dreadfort where his father, Lord Bolton, returned.
Yeah, and
Lord Bolton is the guy who stabbed Robb Stark last.
Oh, okay.
He's the guy who said regards from the Lannisters and stabbed him in the chest.
Oh, okay.
That was the last guy to stab Robb Stark. That's Lord Bolton.
Wow, you know what? And that guy's got some balls to come in there and tell whatever dude's name is, douchebag Frodo.
Snow.
Yeah, to come back in there and tell Snow that he overstepped his bounds, basically, by cutting off, Theon's equipment.
Yeah, well, he turned on Lords.
He fucking killed a bunch of people. Is that the one that stabbed the girl in the belly?
No, it was his men, though.
Yeah, I mean, then to come back and say that he overstepped his bounds. Give me a fucking break. All he did was chop a little dick off. I mean, he said, well, it was definitely
Goes back to
sausage
Theon.
size.
Theon got what he deserved.
So, this is where Reek shaved Snow.
Yeah, he gave him the blade so comfortable with the fact that he was under his complete control that he gave him the blade and let him put it to his throat.
When
and
I
then
watched
told
that
him
last
that
night,
Robb Stark was dead.
Yeah, while
he
was
had
there.
the blade to the throat. Awfully brave, but
Last night I thought, holy shit, that's crazy brave to do that. However,
and for half a second I thought he might go ahead and do it.
yeah. Well, I
But
mean, what would be the harm
not?
at that point? Yeah,
They would
it's
kill
not
him.
like
but,
he's got a great life.
right.
I thought last night, why didn't he do it? And then I watched it again today, and that opening scene in the woods, there was no way he was going to.
No.
He was there. He was theirs. He
theirs,
belonged to
absolutely.
them.
Absolutely, and that's what he proved right there by letting him shave him. That's what he was proving to his dad right there.
Yeah, that he can still be an asset, and then he proved he was an asset by talking about the info about Bran and Recon.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Recon,
Very good point.
whatever.
Mm-hmm. And then he sent. I don't know the man's name, but the weird guy with the scar on his face and the beard that chopped off Jaime's hand.
Yeah.
He sent him at the end of that scene. He sent him after Jon Snow. So he sent that guy and whatever forces to Castle Black to go after Jon Snow, and he sent the bastard to go take that moat he was talking about. Because he even said, Lord Bolton said, Tywin Lannister gave me the North, but won't lift a finger to help me take it.
Yeah.
So now I have to take this moat to take the North. And the moat is held by the Greyjoys,
Okay.
which is Theon's.
Yeah, and he was thinking that was going to be a bargaining
trade.
factor, but he said
now
he already tried it.
He gave his Snow, his bastard, men to go take that moat. So we're going to see how that turns out later on the season.
So dude did, in his family's eyes, the right thing. He's going to end up getting to be, I think he's one of the ballsier Snows. I'll say that because he's going to end up with his dad's sigil. He's going to end up with that. I bet you, long term, that's going to happen to him. Or he's just going to get unceremoniously offed. That's another option.
I think they're both going to get unceremoniously offed.
Yeah.
The Bolton family is going to get what they got coming to them, too. It might not be right away, but
Yeah, I just feel like he's going to end up being a Snow that had enough balls to take the dad's last name.
To say that I want to earn it.
Yeah, and to actually do
to go
so.
try to try to do it. But yeah, well, fucked up ways. But them people are fucked anyway. The way they turned and they broke their oaths and
they have their Robb Stark aura hanging over their head. And I don't
definitely.
mean because they killed him. I mean because he got what he had coming too.
Yeah, but they
have
because
that
of
waiting
the way they
for
did
them.
it. They're gonna get their
Come up.
comeuppance.
Yes, their uppance will come.
Should I stop doing that?
I mean, it's only the
okay?
second time in this podcast, and it's never happened before ever, so I don't mind.
But I mean, okay. Yeah.
All right,
Moving on.
thank you
Next
for the
scene.
pink candle, wife.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
The rehearsal breakfast was next for the
Oh,
wedding.
it was the gift givings to.
The way Joffrey said, "Can I call you Dad?" and the way
my
that guy
God.
was like,
Oh, dude.
he was like coming all over himself
Dude,
because
and-
the king called him Dad. I could get used to that.
Yeah, I mean, but this guy.
Come on.
I mean, like you could see why he was such a little squirrel. Like it just like you could see why Grandma still runs the show because that dude did.
Oh, yeah, he didn't have any
He
spine.
wasn't taking
Yeah.
nothing over for nothing, right?
No.
But his sons now.
His
Oberyn.
sons. Okay. Oh,
And
that's
It's
the Red
Prince
Viper.
Oberyn, the Red Viper, correct. And we haven't met the other son yet. He was sickly, I suppose, and he stayed behind in Dorne.
Oh, okay. And then the thing I noticed about the thing was when Cersei said about Shay, pointed her out to her dad.
Right.
All the shifty eyes that were going on.
Did you see
There was
all
like
that?
a bunch of close-up shots on shifty eyes. It was like,
But I think right there, do you think Tyrion heard him?
it's not like she was being particularly quiet.
No, but see, that's why. And right after that is when he sent her off, right?
Pretty much right after that.
Right after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's after he dumped her, which I expected, but
Did
I
we miss
didn't.
that? Did we go over that scene?
No, that's next, I believe.
Oh, so that is next. Okay,
yeah.
so
But Joffrey chopping that book was like the most childish thing anybody could
seriously,
do. It was great.
Seriously, yeah. But he performed it great. But the book, going back to that book, is like a.
It was supposed to be a warning.
Like sources, like it was a book that he told him every king should read.
Yeah.
So I imagine that it was of some importance.
Well, I imagine that it
And
was.
books, it's not like they have printing presses to create books back then. You know, like
He just keeps fucking. Yeah, he just cut it up. I mean, who knows if there was another copy? I'm sure there was. But the point, I think that it was an insult. I think that.
well, obviously.
No. I think Tyrion giving him that book was meant to be kind of a sly dig by saying, look, here's some fuck up kings that you should read their stories for. You know what I mean? So that you don't do that same thing.
I think you're right. I think you might be right. I don't know anything about the book or what information might have been in that book, but from the kings he described, I think
he made them sound like idiots.
They were somebody the unworthy. I think was one of the names. So yeah, you're probably right about that. It was like, here, read this and don't repeat their mistakes.
Don't do these things, dumbass. It's weird enough that you're inbred, clearly.
I mean, do you think that could partially be the reason that he was a psychopath? The missing part. I mean, was he missing a few fucking strands of DNA, and then he's just not fucking right in the head?
I don't know. I think that maybe that was something they worked into the character, or said maybe that's kind of one.
Not that they would have been
reason
able to
it.
explain that scientifically.
Yeah,
in
but
that time period.
That might be
but
something they're expecting us to infer from the character that, he's inbred, so maybe that's why he's a little bit
like that.
Yeah, but I don't know that that's necessarily tied to it. But
right.
yeah, I mean, I would think that there's no other reason to tell us that other than to point out that Cersei and Jaime were fucking. You know, besides that fact, we don't necessarily need to know that Joffrey was inbred. Well, I guess because he took over the throne.
Do you know the reason why they did it?
Why? Who did what?
About keeping bloodlines pure and all that stuff. Like, that's why the incest happens amongst these highborn people. Like,
well,
that.
Yeah, because they think that to keep them both Targaryens or both whatever. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I could see why they would do that, and I get why they had Joffrey
I'm pretty
letting
sure
him
that
go into be
Daenerys'
king.
mom.
What would have happened? Well, I mean, shit. I guess I'm going to get the answer to that. I was going to say, what's going to happen with what would happen after Joffrey? Because where does the bloodline go? There's no more.
Well, she had her other son sitting next to him.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Is that how it works? Does it
I
just
don't
go to the
know,
next
dude.
son?
Like, I'll tell you who we're forgetting about. Gendron. He is an actual rightful heir to the
Oh,
throne.
you're talking about the
other
older
bastard son.
Baratheon son.
Yes.
So because he's the first.
He would be the only one that's actually blood to Robert Baratheon.
Yeah. And then, but doesn't the throne also belong to Targaryen because he was off?
Because he was taken off, so they have some claim to it too. Daenerys,
Do you know quickly where it goes beyond that? Like back further, like which houses it was in? Has it been
before
all of them?
Targaryen?
Yeah. Like, do you know at all what they were before that? Like,
I mean, it
been
goes
a
back to
long-standing jumping thing?
the Targaryens' ancestors. Like they come from like old Valyria.
You just have this fucking bass in your voice. And it's,
should I back
no,
up?
stay right there. I'll adjust.
The Targaryens' ancestors, I believe, are from old Valyria.
Yeah.
And the ones who came over and founded Westeros and founded the Seven Kingdoms and the Iron Throne.
So that's kind of where
through
it
the power
started.
of dragons and all that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you do for more detail. You'd really have to read the books. I mean, I imagine that all that stuff is there. But in some of that DVD stuff, a lot of that's explained.
Okay.
And I think that's where I'm getting that.
I keep meaning to check that stuff out.
But anyway, where were we at?
Oh, I was just
Valyria. That goes back to the Valyrian steel sword that chopped up the book. That's where the scene we were talking about.
Oh, that's why he did it. And then just like an infant, he goes, "Oh man, dude, that chopped that up. That was almost as easy as chopping up Ned Stark's head." Put the thing back in the thing right in front of Sansa.
I believe it was
Widow's Wail.
Wail.
I don't know if that meant like WAIL.
I think that's what it means.
Like, Widow's
Wail.
Wail.
She's
Like,
crying for her husband.
there we go. Okay, we figured it out.
And so that would mean like he would be listening
So
to...
who gets it now? Because obviously not Joffrey.
Oh, wow.
Well, maybe they bury it with him. Like they're going to waste the Valyrian steel.
Well, I don't know about that. We'll see.
I don't think Joffrey gets a hero's death.
It's going to get stolen.
You think so?
We'll see.
Somebody else going to end up with it? After there, it went to Tyrion dumping Shay. And like I said, I expected that to happen. What I didn't expect was for me to still feel bad for her. Like I knew that's what had to be next, but I didn't expect me to feel like,
so do you think? I mean, okay, now here's my feeling about that. The only reason that I might believe it is because that dude's been pretty trustworthy for Tyrion since the beginning. His Bronn is the guy he handed her off
I didn't
to.
know who you were talking about.
He was
there.
supposed to make sure.
Like, I don't believe Tyrion thought any of those things. I believe that he just said what he had to do to get her to go away.
Well, yeah, but what I'm talking about when he had Bronn take her, and when I was thinking that like the only
His
reason
name's literally Bronn.
I'm sorry, but we didn't. I didn't.
No, that's great.
I should have started that off with saying that I don't believe that she's going to die. I might not believe that she's going to die because he handed her off to Bronn.
Oh, my opinion completely changed on that. I don't think she gets away with it. I don't think it goes away. She's going to be used against Tyrion in the future. There's no question in my mind.
But she's going to come back or do something stupid like that. But I think Bronn did what he was supposed to do and took her and put her on that boat.
Yeah, I'm sure she did. I just don't think that they're going to let it go.
Turned around and looked over at him and put his hand on her shoulder and said, she's gone.
Yeah.
Now go drink until he feels like you did the right thing.
Yeah.
You know. He's a cool character. I've always liked Bronn.
Yeah. I like that his name is literally Bronn.
I think it's Braun or something like that.
But still, it's, you got to have some
Bronn.
Bronn. Yeah. We need a character with some Bronn. What's his name? Bronn?
That was a fairly short scene. Like, where did it go from there?
Shit. That I don't know. I don't remember exactly where it went from there. That's where my notes
Did
end.
it go to...
Because we still have half the episode left, at least. It was only at 22 minutes.
Okay, but did it go to...
Khaleesi?
Brandon?
Oh, Bran, and
Can you pull it up?
I guess I can, yeah.
Like a scene index or something like that?
Possibly. So,
Well, anyway, it might have went to Brandon Stark. That's why I believe it went to after that.
is his name Brandon? Is that what you said? Brandon?
Brandon Stark.
Oh, I didn't know if that was his full name. I just always heard him called Bran.
Brandon, I think is his name.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I didn't know. You said that with such confidence. I didn't know for sure. I was like, is it? Okay,
Well, I had
cool.
to make sure we were talking about the same person.
Yeah.
Because we were just saying Braun and Brandon, but Bran.
Yeah.
Brandon is his full name, I think. It might be D-E-N, like Brandon, and not like we would spell it D-O-N, But
Yeah.
anyway, I think it goes to him waking up inside the wolf, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Like he woke up and he's like, I'm eating. because he was the wolf eating in the dream, but the rest of them were starving.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you weren't eating, and eating in your dream doesn't count. You're still gonna starve, even if you. Think
yeah. Even if you're just
but
doing that.
Like to be more seriously though, he told him like if staying inside the wolf too long is dangerous.
Yeah,
If
you'll
you do that,
forget everything
you'll
about
forget
you.
about us. You know, we need to save Winterfell. This and that. Blah blah blah. And I think that storyline is going to get a lot more interesting. Like it's going to be a lot more mystical and magical before the end of it. Yeah. Well, did you see him put his hand on that tree and all the visions that came to him?
Oh yeah, he's
was a
definitely
cool
going to
scene.
be. I think it's going to be him and Arya somehow near the end, like not together, obviously.
I
But
think
you
they're
know
both
what I
gonna
mean?
get some sort of like. I don't want to sound like too like gay about it. Well, gay is a bad choice of words, but I don't want to sound too like weird about it. But saying like the magical powers, like I think she's gonna learn the ways of like those shapeshifters and be able to change her face and
Yeah.
you know like
Oh yeah,
Joaquin,
like
you
the
know?
dude that we were talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
and then he's gonna learn to expand his abilities with controlling or being inside the animals or wolves or whatever.
Yeah, they're
And even
so
beyond
young at
that,
this point
like,
that they're
even
going to be able
beyond
to hone that shit. I'm
that
sure
was
they
an
play into the
interesting
end
scene.
game.
I liked they showed his dad, like some of the past, like showed Ned Stark's face a little bit. Then they showed the crypts under Winterfell.
Yeah, stuff that he couldn't have seen.
Right. Then they showed the dragon over King's Landing.
Yeah.
Brandon Stark had never seen King's Landing. He'd definitely never been there.
Yeah.
So he sees
And
the
how would
dragon
you see it
shadow
from
over
that point of view,
like,
too?
That was cool. I mean, you hear the roar of the dragon, and then he gets like woken up real fast. So he's like, "We know where we need to go." So which I couldn't really understand where they needed to go.
I
yet,
think
but I
I think
we'll
north. I think is what they were
Well,
saying.
they're north of the wall.
Yeah.
They're north of the wall.
But I think
The
they
whole
were
group
supposed to
is.
keep going.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see to discover whatever lies beyond. I guess.
Yeah, why
We'll see.
wouldn't you?
I
That'd
don't
be cool
know.
as
Well,
shit. You know?
Well, because of the White Walkers.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I
But
guess
didn't
they're
everybody
headed
think they were
south.
dead? Or didn't everyone think they were gone for thousands of years, though?
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's starting to be rumors of them coming back now.
Huh.
I mean, the Night's Watch knows they're back.
They
They've been sending-
didn't pass the wall yet, though. The White Walkers.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, okay. I don't remember that happening. But Sam has come back to the wall, didn't he?
They were all back at Castle Black. So was Jon Snow.
But
That was
Sam was
episode
there.
1, though.
But Sam was there when the White Walkers first started walking, and they all walked past him. So
No,
he
they
went.
weren't
He
there
cut
yet.
back through.
No, they weren't there yet, though.
They weren't where yet.
They
The-
weren't
what-
at Castle Black when. You mean at the beginning?
No, what I'm asking is because Sam was there, how did he get back to the wall past them? If they walked, because they seemed to be walking south when he hid behind that rock at the end of season 2.
I mean, there was a battle at the beginning of, I think it's like season 3, where it opens up with the zombie chasing Sam. I think it's the opening of season 3.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? That takes place like after a battle with the White Walkers and the zombies.
Oh, so they had another war that they didn't really show?
They didn't show any of that.
Oh, that's gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I didn't even know there was a war. I was
battles.
trying to
See,
figure
the
out.
Night's
So
Watchmen-
they backed
Well,
up?
that's why. Yeah. So yeah, the Night's Watchmen fought back to the wall, back to Castle Black. Correct. By the White
Okay.
Walkers, the zombies. You know what I'm saying? Like the-
Yeah, but so then
they've
they
seen
pushed them
they know.
back, but they can't
But you know,
get
he even
through.
said, "Did you send the Ravens?" See, we're going back to season 2. He said, "Did you send the Ravens?" He didn't send the Ravens to warn everybody about that. So like nobody really knows what's going on with that yet. Like nobody in the rest of Westeros knows what's going on.
Okay.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Where were we at?
I don't know. I think
Oh, that's
we're
right,
up
you
to
lost
the.
it. We were talking about Bran Stark. Okay, and then it goes back after the Bran Stark stuff. It goes back to King's Landing for the rest of the episode, doesn't it?
I believe the rest of the episode is the.
The wedding, the royal wedding.
Yeah, because there's the whole necklace thing. Whoever finds the best necklace gets to keep the second. That wasn't this episode. Oh, we were watching that yesterday. That's the
Yeah,
only reason
that's
that
why.
got
That was
confused in my
episode
head.
1.
We watched it right before.
They showed after that. I think they went right to them tying the hands of King Joffrey and Marjorie Tyrell,
Yeah.
signifying them getting married.
So they did actually get married.
I mean, from what it looked like, yeah. And they were at the reception or whatever.
Well, yeah, because they said the
dinner
queen
afterwards.
and blah blah,
Right.
and she kept trying to diffuse his anger,
Oh my
which was
God,
hilarious.
It was pretty funny because she was really bad at it.
Yeah, she would just blatantly
But
be
you
like,
know what, though? He's
"Oh,
the
the
king.
pie's
Like,
here."
and what's anybody supposed to say to him? You know, like
She's
he's
the
king.
only one that can
He
do
can't
anything.
be like undermined
Chastised.
by anybody, you know, because he's the king. Like that's just not
That's why it's a flawed system.
Exactly.
That's why having a one person in charge just does not cut it.
Right.
And yeah.
So
So
the dinner was interesting. They had some entertainment. Oh, what you know what I heard?
when they brought out the
do you know the band that was playing? That he threw the coins at?
yeah.
They were playing the House Lannister song. From what I understand, that was Coldplay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he threw the coins at him and told him to get lost.
Oh,
And they ran
nice.
and picked the
Oh,
coins up. I'm
as
pretty
guest stars?
That was Coldplay. I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's cool.
That's from what I was told. So that's a cool little tidbit there.
Yeah.
But they had, and then Joffrey seems frustrated the whole time, because I think the reason he was frustrated is because he wanted to get on with this embarrassing of his uncle, his public shaming
which
of Tyrion by bringing the
and
dwarves
why
out.
do you think he did that? Oh, do you
Just because
just
he hates
because
his uncle.
not for any particular thing?
Just because they've been at it since the beginning.
Well, yeah, because he bitch slapped him.
And then he was the hand of the king, and the things that he did while he was the hand.
He bitch slapped that dude. That was
And he
great.
slapped him when he was the king. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
That was good
And, well,
stuff.
he slapped him way back in season 1, and he slapped him last season.
Yeah, well, yeah, and he knows that he was a little bitch during the war.
And kind of almost called him out there,
Yeah.
which was a cool
Yeah, because he was
little line there.
wasn't he talking about the king in battle? And,
Yeah, he even said it. He was like, "Why don't you go out there and show him?" As an I as an eyewitness have seen you in battle, so why don't you go out there and show him?
So he was gonna fuck with him basically no matter what. That was
Right.
gonna happen
Dude, I tell
with
you
all
what,
the
man,
midgets.
he did a good job, dude. I think Tyrion did an awesome job of just kind of sucking it up and taking it.
Yeah.
Not really going back at him too hardcore, just
Well, all he had to do was get through the day. You know what I
Right.
mean? In theory. Although it's not. It's fucking forever, isn't it? Jesus. It never stops in this world.
no.
He's always going to be treated like a piece of garbage.
I think until they, like I've said before on the podcast, that he becomes one of the leaders in the North.
Yeah.
That's one of my predictions. I still think he's going to become one of the leaders in the North.
So do you want to take a guess at who offed Joffrey?
Do do you want to go over that a little bit more first?
What? I don't even know anything else about it. That's all I remember is that it got.
I'm talking
up
about
to
like
that.
you just like go over the scene in more detail.
Oh, I don't remember any more of the scene.
Well, they were going back and forth. Him and Joffrey. Then Joffrey walked over, dumped the wine glass
Oh
on
yeah,
top of
yeah.
his head.
That
And he said, he stood up and said, "Dude, you're gonna be my cupbearer now."
yeah.
And he said, "Well, it's an honor."
Yeah, it was-
man is an honor.
Wasn't meant to be an honor. He got all
What a
snarky.
little fucking kid.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
I don't know if we're doing F bombs.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
The thing that struck me about that when I was rewatching it is that that basically all of them had spilled wine. Jamie knocked over the wine with his hand. Tyrion poured it on the table and said, it's just wine.
Just wine.
And then he gets wine dumped
Poured
on his
on his
head. I
head.
just thought that was kind of, foreshadowing that was coming. That there was
The
going to...
wine. They mentioned wine, even
Yeah.
said it more than once. It's just
Yeah.
wine.
Is that the same guy? The guy that just almost got his throat slit by the guy shaving him?
No.
No.
Wrong people, Big
We're
L.
talking about it completely, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't remember any more of the detail of them going back and forth.
Okay, here, I think I do. He stood up, and he said, "You're going to be my cupbearer, bring my cup." And
Okay,
then we'll fill my cup. And then when Tyrion went to grab the cup, he dropped it on the ground and kicked it.
Yeah.
And then Sansa got up, picked up the cup, and handed it to Tyrion.
To save him some embarrassment, potentially. And
That's his wife.
yes.
Okay, so she tried to help him out. Okay, so he hands the cup back to, or he's handing the cup. He fills it, pours a little bit of wine in it, and he's handing the cup, and he says, "Kneel." And I love that he didn't kneel.
Oh yeah,
I
that he
love
wouldn't.
that he just stood there and hard-eyed him and just he wouldn't do it. And then she broke, again, Miss Marjorie with the diffusion of the situation.
Oh, it's the pie.
Comes out, and so he opens the pie with the sword, then is the only one to take a bite of the pie.
Are you sure it was the pie, or wasn't it some sort of cake?
Well,
that
I
he
think
was
I
eating?
don't know what it was, if they served it
She
directly
gave
off
him
that
a
table.
bite of something. Marjorie
She gave him a
did.
bite. It was a piece of pie on a plate.
But that first bite looked like white, and everything else looked beige.
If you look at it, she gave him a bite and then handed him the plate. If you watch it again, and he's got a big piece of it looks like apple pie on his plate, and he takes a couple more bites out of it, and he's like, "Get me some wine, hurry up! This pie is dry."
Yeah,
And
I
then
just
he
remember
starts kinda
those being
coughing.
different. Okay.
He starts kind of coughing, and then he gets the wine and starts choking it down.
Well,
and
this
then
is
blah,
when
blah, blah.
this is when we get to the sensitive moment. You know, we've seen Joffrey for 4 seasons now. It was a little touching to see him get all choked up at his wedding.
Oh, dude. You've been saving that? You've been thinking about that all day?
Yes.
Okay.
Come on, that's
It
not
was
bad.
okay. Well, anyway, he got what he deserved, but it was funny. Like I go back to hearing the director talk again about it.
Yeah.
And he said to see this guy who we've loved to hate or whatever, and this the child actor be reduced to a frightened child
Yeah.
scrambling for his mother to help him.
Yeah, and the way you
At the
forgot
end.
that they were these evil assholes, and
And
I watched
he
that
said
same
they
thing.
really wanted to. Oh, you did. So
Yeah. It was the bonus material on HBO Go.
Okay, so yeah, same thing on it was on demand. He was watching it earlier, but regardless of that, but yeah, that was a good little his explanation of it, like like to see just the king and this just reduced to
Yeah.
a scared kid wanting his mom because he doesn't know what to do before he dies. It's
If this
and they did make you kind of out of that moment feel for him a little bit, except for the one person in the room with us that goes, "Good."
I know,
My
right?
wife behind us.
Good.
Great response. I love her for it.
Well,
So.
she said one of my favorite lines of the night, in that she said that Tyrion was implicated in Joffrey's death, and that just made me fucking laugh because she said implicated without irony. She was not trying to be funny. She said that he got implicated, and that made me fucking
like you think
laugh.
about it, there's no police, just her looking
Well,
up and
she was
saying,
mad because she's
he
the
did
mom.
it.
Even though he was an evil whatever, she was still his mom, and like at that moment he became the kid. And I don't know if this show wasn't, it's that close, dude. It's that close to feeling like stunt stuff where they do like all these, oh, we just need to get to the red wedding. Oh, we just need to, because now they're talking about the end of this season, like, oh, that'll be the shit if we get to air this. And I feel like all that stuff is all death related. And like, if it wasn't so
Well-
fucking good in the minutia of like the stuff we were just talking about with Joffrey and his mom,
Right.
like if it wasn't that good, I don't think I'd like this show that much. As much, I mean. As I do with there being solid fucking characters, and like I don't like just that everything's death.
Dude, I think a lot of it is going to have to do with death because the show's about. It's just what it's about. I mean,
I know.
death, and I mean that the way these people lived back then. I just got to take it for what it is. I guess it's a medieval fantasy story. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it's a different day and age.
I swear I didn't think of this when I started talking about it, but it makes me think of the way the network told them not to kill Jack in the pilot because the audience would never trust them. I almost feel like this show is the show that went the opposite direction, where they just will kill everybody.
Well, I think there's nobody off limits in this show.
I think
absolutely
Tyrion
not.
is. If I'm being honest, he's the only one I think that
he
is
might be
completely
one.
off limits.
But he might be one of the writers' favorite characters. Like I'm talking about George R.R. Martin.
Yeah, I know,
Like,
but
he might be one of his favorite
I think
characters, so.
I don't think if
He-
I think
I-
if you kill him off, people aren't. I don't
We'll
think.
stop watching the show.
I don't know that.
Well,
I think that's a bit of a harsh
is that,
reaction
is that
people
where
say.
you is that where you were going with that? I thought that's what you were going to say. I
Well-
tried to finish your sentence. I apologize. If I did.
It's okay. No, I just think that he's such a fan favorite that there would be a major backlash, and I don't see why you would do that when he's putting in such kick-ass performances. I get serving the bigger story, but at the same time, I feel like he is the only one that is completely off limits at the moment. Maybe Daenerys, too.
And maybe Daenerys.
I don't feel like she could be killed.
I had somebody tell me that their prediction is that she is not shit, and she is never going to be shit.
That's not a
It
bad
was funny.
prediction.
Not a bad prediction. I don't like that. Speaking of predictions,
I
we
mean,
want to move into that.
Yeah,
part
sure.
Of our segment. You got anything?
I mean, like I said, I don't think the Shay thing is going to work out fully. I think she's going to get away for a little while, but I think she's going to definitely... It's going to be used against Tyrion. This show just works like that. They're just prolonging it. They figured out a way to put a stopgap in there from going right to the end of that storyline. That will be the end of that storyline. There's no way they get to live happily ever after.
All right.
Right? I mean, do you see any way that they ever live happily ever after? No.
I think I'll tell you who I think that Sansa and Tyrion are actually going to end up falling in love.
I think they'll end up being
together.
Because he is a good dude,
Yeah.
so to speak, and she'll eventually come around to the fact that she'll get past his impness
and that he didn't have anything to do with the things that happened to her family.
Yeah, and maybe even she'll see that he wasn't cool with it either. You know what I mean?
Right.
Somehow she'll kind of spy on it or catch it. When they're not. He's not supposed to be. He's not talking to her saying, "This is how I feel about it." But
so you think they're going to kill her and use him against him, or you think she just some way, shape, or form that she's going to be used against him?
I think that. Okay, since you kind of discussed that, I feel like I can expand on that a little bit now. That he's going to fall for Sansa, but he's still always going to have that soft spot for Shay, and she's going to try to be used against him, and much like Ben's daughter, he's going to call their bluff, and she's going to get killed anyways.
That's a good prediction. I like that.
I mean, it's pretty out there, but we'll see.
Well, just since we're in the prediction segment, I just want to share a little story.
Okay.
From our viewing, what was it, Sunday night?
Yes.
Do you remember me stepping in front of everybody and making my bold prediction for the season?
Vaguely.
Come on.
Before
Arya,
it.
they did the foreshadowing with Arya standing him over him in like episode 2 with the sword, and like, yeah, that's definitely how he's gonna go. Like Arya's definitely gonna be the one to get him killed, dude. This is me thinking, like, literally watching this show. How much of a book reader I'm not.
Yeah.
Literally watching the show, thinking that Joffrey's gonna be alive, into the series.
Yeah, I mean,
and
think about how far apart they are.
At the fucking end of the episode, dude.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
Well, dude,
Fantastic.
they are in
But
essentially
I love
different worlds.
I love watching the show and actually being wrong about stuff like that.
That's a cool prediction to go put out there and then have it squashed just like that. That's kind of
immediately like that. I would never.
But you never had that. You didn't have that information, so how could you possibly guess that? You know what I mean? But they're in. When you said that, it made me think, dude, that's going to take a long time. Let's play a hypothetical out here and see how long would it have taken potentially for Joffrey and Arya to meet in person again.
Well, I think like it would have taken how I saw it playing out was Arya going and training, and then end of like the series, like Joffrey's still the evil king, and she's the one who gets him at the end. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen, but no, like, man, wow, what
a bunch of bullshit that we've had to have Joffrey as a king for so long, and we only got Robert for like a season.
Robert was cool, man.
Not even a season.
Well, he died in like episode like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
For not even the whole season.
I mean, that's crazy.
Well. All right. Well, here goes my prediction.
Okay, give us your prediction, and then we'll call it a week.
I'm gonna tell you how Tyrion's gonna get out of his predicament that he got put in now.
Okay.
Because he's been in it before.
Okay.
With Catelyn Stark. Think about it. And he called for the trial by combat.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna call a champion. Okay,
yeah, so then he got Bronn to do it.
Right. So Tywin's going to call his champion, which is going to be the Mountain. Sir Gregor Clegane, the Mutt's brother, the dog's brother. The Mutt in the Mountain. You haven't seen too much of this guy. I mean, he hasn't been in the show too much, but they've mentioned him quite a bit. I was just
thinking of somebody else that I thought he was going to call.
Well, he's going to call him because that's his champion is the Mountain. Okay? And for some reason, Bronn's going to not be able to be there for Tyrion. And I think, who I think is going to step up for him to be his champion is the Red Viper.
Okay.
He's going to step up and fight for Tyrion, and he's going to get revenge on the Mountain for killing his sister in front of everybody. Because the Mountain is the guy who killed...
But wait a minute. If Tyrion picks the Mountain to be his guy...
No. Tywin is going to pick the Mountain. Not Tyrion.
Oh, okay. See, I thought you were talking about
Tywin's the hand of the king, so I think he's going to be like the head of the proceedings. So he's going to say, "The Mountain is my champion."
Oh, okay. And then it's therefore giving the Red Viper reasoning to go into it.
Step in to be able to fight the Mountain one-on-one, and he's going to kill the Mountain, and that's how Tyrion's going to get out of having killed the king.
And can Tyrion pick anybody, or do they have to be willing? Do you know?
Bronn just stepped up and said, "I'll fight for him." He asked,
will anybody? I see.
And then Bronn stepped up and said,
I was just because so he couldn't just say you're going to fight for me.
No.
Okay.
No.
Because I was starting to think maybe he should put his dad in there.
Up, that the Red Viper is going to step in and fight for Tyrion.
That's not a bad
And
prediction.
he's gonna get him out of his predicament that he's being accused of killing the king. I mean, like, come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a bold prediction and say that he gets away with it. That he didn't kill the king.
Well,
I still think it was Sansa involved in some way. That's another prediction I'm throwing out there.
Okay.
Sansa had something to do with it, and Tyrion's going to make it through all this stuff.
I think, and that's my prediction was how he was going to do it.
Yeah,
It's like, because the Red Viper is going to win the trial by combat, and therefore he's free to go.
yeah. There's no
So
way.
that's it.
There's no way he dies during all this.
Absolutely not.
Tyrion makes it through the rest of the season.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. But I think that's going to be how.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was a good.
No,
No,
are you
I,
going to
yeah.
do the line of the night or what?
Oh, I already did mine. You go ahead and
was
throw
your best
yours
line?
out there. Mine was Jenna's. What she said, that Tyrion was implicated. That was the only thing I could think of.
But that wasn't a line in the
I know.
show.
Well, then,
okay, well, I guess that wasn't off limits or anything.
I
Okay,
liked
mine
the
was,
thing with the wife. Then the line that I said earlier. But this is where I fucked his wife. This is where I fuck his wife. And if they don't hear that, or she's a screamer, and if you don't hear that, then
won't hear
we'll
it.
be fine.
I like what Tyrion said to his brother. He said, "The Lannister children, the cripple, the dwarf, and the queen of madness."
Uh huh.
All right.
Girl, I've known you very well. Seen you growing every day. I've never really looked before, but now you take my breath away.
Okay, see you later, everybody. We will be back on, or I will be back on Wednesday with another podcast. Send in discussion topics. Add comeuppance@gmail.com, or search. I think Google Plus for. Fuck it, I'll give you links. Just go to comeuppance.com/live. # see you later.